I'll just leave it on in my office.
Okay, if that's all right with you.
Yeah, if you need anything, text my phone if you run into some problem or something.
Okay, all right. Thanks, Clark. Take care.
Get to feeling better.
Yeah,
Get well for sure.
all right. I know we're already a little behind, but we need to give just another minute. We got to make sure we get some more. We've got 3.
Did anyone have a problem getting on?
No, other than because Clark didn't launch the host. It just took a while
It
to
took a while.
actually.
Okay, so it was delayed, right?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, got it.
All right, so Karen,
I actually have a quorum now, Brian. You've got 6 of them.
Claire. Yep. All right, so we can get started. So yes, it is currently 4:10 and we have a quorum. So we'll go ahead and get started. So first thing is that I sent the December board meeting minutes out to everyone. Hopefully everyone's had a chance to review. Is there any need for discussion or correction that anyone's seen?
I move approval.
I second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions?
We're gonna kick them out if they do.
All right, cruising right along here. We're already at bullet point number 4 of 8. All right, Graziella's here. So I know that everyone had a copy of the financials sent to them. And unfortunately, with the way things are set up, I don't have the ability to share it. It would take me longer to figure that out than it would be to just kind of go through this. And so Graziella, I'll turn it over to you for the club financials. You're on mute.
Sorry about that. I'm already done. You didn't hear me?
Perfect,
No.
perfect. All right, we move
That was
on.
the best one. That was the best report yet. Rosella.
So monthly financial report for January for the Rotary Club of Lincoln. We have $24,354.23 in the bank. Our accounts receivable is $1,674. Now, if you happen to remember last month, that's a difference of $30, but that does not mean we didn't collect. We collected a lot, thanks to Brian, and I think he mentioned that already. It's just that it's the new quarterly billing is in now, and not everybody has paid yet.
Yeah.
So prepaid expenses, we are at $2,802.54. This is made up by Cuvée that has given us a credit of $1,000 for the future Wine Fest. It's the rent that we still have prepaid in the Women's Club. And Rotary International invoice, I amortized that over the 6 months period. So you will see that going down every month.
Okay. All right. Great.
We have in accounts payable, nothing. So we paid everything. So very nice. There is an amount of $4,100 in the intercompany account, and that is because the district grant check and the $100 donation for the auction was deposited into our bank account for the club. And what I need to do is I will issue a check to the foundation so that we can move it over there where it actually belongs.
Perfect. Okay.
Then we have deferred revenue hasn't changed. That's still the Wine Fest. And by that, with that said, we are as of January 31st, 2021, we have a loss of $555.
All right. Okay. All right.
then,
Yeah, so I would say unless someone has a specific question on the budget, I don't know that we need to go through that page unless someone has a question out there specific to that.
I think it looks fine.
Yeah, I went through it. It looked fine to me.
Yeah, okay.
Mhm.
all
And then,
right.
You could probably go to the last page on the
Yeah.
AR. detail.
yeah, any questions from any of the comparison or any of that, or even in the detail? If not, we'll jump right to that last page as John suggested. And Gracie, I'll let you speak to that.
That's accounts receivable. Yes, so we invoiced for the third quarter, fiscal year quarter, the meals, and we have $960 outstanding. These are, they're not quite late yet, so I'm still hoping. I feel a lot of them are gonna be in February. Bottom line is what we're still outstanding. We have $226 outstanding by Anna Maria Dugan. We have $60 outstanding by Richard Pearl. We have $60 outstanding by Anna Roa and $432 by Bill Rontani. So, which is a total of $744. So these items we still need to go and collect.
So what I suggest is that I'll reach out to each of those people directly.
Okay,
Really the bulk of the outstanding. So $960 of the 1674, 960
new.
of that is
Yeah.
in the 1 to 30 day bucket because we just did the
Correct.
billing late January. So I'm
Correct.
not concerned about that. What I'll do though is this 90 days and greater, I'll reach out to Anna Marie, Richard, Anna Roa, and Bill Rontani, because that's 740, 750 bucks, somewhere in there,
Yes.
which we need to clean up. I'm not quite sure why that continues to
To be there. Yeah.
go along. So unless anyone has another route they prefer to go, I'll just reach out to them and try and get that cleared up. Hi, Christine.
Hi, guys. Sorry, I got hung up on a conference
No
call.
problem.
Sorry to be late.
Hi,
Okay.
Kristen.
So I'd like
Alright.
to move that we accept the Rotary Club financials for January.
Again,
And all in favor?
I,
Hi.
Hi.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Nope.
No.
Okay, all right. And I'm remiss here because we had two members join us as well, and I should have at least acknowledged them. So Bill, thanks for being here. And then Stan as well. Thanks for being here, Stan. All right, Graziella, if you wouldn't mind. Oh, one thing before we move on, just an update on status of tax filing for the club.
Yes, I contacted Jennifer, and she said she's really busy right now, but she thought that she had done it already, but so that's about 4 days ago, but I'll follow up with her again.
Okay, yeah, I think we've got some time, and I know
what
she.
was our
doing-
date?
May.
Yeah,
A May date?
Mhm.
Okay.
yeah, and
Yeah, corporate filings are in May.
yeah, and she does them pro bono, so you know.
Exactly.
It's best for us to let her fit it in where she can. So,
Yeah.
okay, perfect.
All
All
right.
right. If we can move on then to the foundation, please.
Yes. So foundation, we have a total of $21,776 in the bank, of which in PayPal we have 977, and money set aside for the community garden is $3,869, which leaves us with $17,907 in our checking account.
Okay.
Accounts receivable, we are at 4,190. These are still the grants that we're waiting for from the district for the RILA 1,190 and the senior center for 3K.
Okay.
Intercompany, I just explained that. So that's the opposite part that we have from the club. So I will do that check. Prepaid is not much. It's only the online auction deposit, which will go away obviously tomorrow, and then the joiner storage. We have in our Vanguard account currently, actually in January, and that might have changed now, but in January we had $133,020 in value.
Quick question there. Do we know, has that been broken out into the 3 different buckets yet?
Jerry, is Jerry here or Karen? I don't know.
I can go get him. Hold on a second.
Okay,
Okay.
I believe it's not yet. I believe they were talking about it right after today's lunch meeting.
Okay. So for everyone who's not familiar, we have 3 different investment buckets. One is the Bradford, which is a restricted fund. So we've got to make sure that's pulled out and separated out. Also, we have a permanent fund, which has roughly 17,000 in it, I think. Again, that needs to be pulled out. That's a restricted bucket.
And then we have the temporary fund. And the
Yeah,
temporary.
and then the temporary fund, which
Which is
is
not-
a short
which is
term.
Not restricted.
It's not, right, it's not restricted, roughly 30,000 is in that one.
Exactly.
Okay,
Oh,
Jerry's here.
Jerry. Yeah, hey,
Jerry.
can you give us a quick update on the breaking those 3 buckets out for restricted and
In Vanguard.
Okay.
And you don't have to give us the detail, just that just the bottom line for me is, how close are we to getting that worked out?
It was.
It's done. It's done. The 3 buckets are
Okay,
Okay. So we have the 3 separate accounts.
right.
okay, so in
Roughly-
February,
Roughly, it's $17,000 in the permanent fund, 30,000 in the temporary fund, and
and then the
About
balance.
85 in the.
85.
85 in the Bradford fund. Yeah.
Right. Got it.
Okay,
Cool. Thank you.
yeah, it would actually make about 88 in the Bradford fund if this bucket is right here. So cool. All right. So we'll see that then, I'm assuming on next month's financials, it'll be broken out with that.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Perfect.
February.
Thanks, Jerry. Sorry to interrupt you there.
No problem. Just
Oh yeah, he's changing out my stove for a different
I had
stove top.
220 amps in my watts. 30 amps.
That's why your hair's standing up now, huh?
I hope you have it turned off at the breaker.
I hope so.
Well,
too.
If Jerry's hair's standing up because of that, that's something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
we're going from a gas stove top to an induction one. So ask me
Oh.
Nice,
if I burned any food or not.
nice.
We have the
Right.
induction. You'll love it.
We'll let you work out the kinks in that before we come over for dinner.
Yeah, you better.
All right. Sorry, Graziella.
No, that's fine.
All right.
On the liability side, we have a $13,862.50. The 13,500 is we got the check back and from the city for the Lincoln the project. Unfortunately, Jennifer said that they don't know yet when that project's gonna happen. But
Yeah.
I keep it there because it's a promise and we have it there for them
Yeah.
when
perfect.
they're ready.
Okay. All right. And I think that's it really then for,
Yeah, there's nothing else really major.
okay. Let's see. I went through, I don't have any notes written down, so I didn't have any other questions.
Yeah, there's really no other major changes this month.
The very
so
last page is the AR.
Yeah,
except the World Services, we issued a lot of checks in January. So we gave money to $1,000 to the shelter box, 1,000 to Safe Passage, 1,500 Saint Luke in Haiti, Saint Luke, and 1,000 to USAID in Uganda, and of course $2,000 to Polio Plus. So
Okay. yeah, so they're well on their way to spending their budget for the year.
yeah,
I think they've got another 5K left.
right.
Okay, all right.
Let's see what
Yeah. So John, you had raised something, you said something about the
Well,
AR on
And
page
she
17?
may have covered that at the beginning, the 41.
Yes,
Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
she did.
yes,
Okay,
you did.
got it.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. Okay, any other questions regarding the foundation financials? And of course, we don't need to approve those here, just for being updated. And if you wouldn't mind then going into the properties?
Yep. And in the properties, we have $24,977 in the checking account. We have a $1,700 in accounts receivable. That is, we had unfortunately 2 bounce check by one of the tenants, but we were just depositing today again one of them. So hopefully we are caught up. So yeah, they're having some hard time because of COVID, I believe.
Yeah, okay.
There's on the liability side, we have $3,748 in accrued property taxes. That's the major, and the net income for the year to date, fiscal year to date, is the loss of $2,280. For the for just a month is actually positive.
Okay,
Well, yeah, the net income for January is $1,645.90.
okay.
I think something nice to say, even though we had a few losses because of the legal fees that we had, unexpected for the properties, and the property taxes that were fairly high. We're still looking at the 7 months. We have an average of a $2,000 income, so not really a loss,
Okay,
which is a good thing.
and yeah, so, okay, and that's after all the expenses that we're aware of. correct?
Exactly.
Okay, all right,
Yes.
okay. So 2,000, so roughly 24 a year. And then as I
So
think
we're right
everyone,
on what we kind of estimated.
Yeah.
So I think budget wise.
Graciela, what's going to happen when our taxes are raised? Is there a
So
lot of
I
tax
am
relief?
accruing that. Yeah, so I'm accruing that. So cash wise, we have enough right now, and I'm accruing it every month. So that's already recorded in the books. I'm taking 1/6 of whatever's due every month. I put away.
yeah, I did see that in here, and of course now I'm not finding it, but
Accrued property taxes, accrued
Yeah.
expenses.
All right.
Currently at was it $3,748.
okay, so annually, well, wait a second, that's 45,000 annually?
Yeah. Wait, 3,6. Let me look at
Okay,
where's my notes? Hold on, okay?
Yeah, because what I remember seeing was it's somewhere around 26,000 a year in
Right,
taxes.
so it's
And
six,
then,
and we
Right.
have still, we have only like 1 month right now accrued, 1 month and, right? So we
Yeah.
have 6 more, I mean, 5 more months to go.
yeah, okay. Yeah, so basically the rental income is 63 and then roughly 26 in taxes. But you were saying that after all expenses, we're averaging about 2,000 a month.
That is
Yeah.
correct, even though
Yeah.
with the accruals of the property tax,
Right.
including the accruals of the property.
Right,
tax.
yeah, so my
that's really-
only concern there is knowing that these properties are in pretty poor shape and we'll, we don't really know exactly when
Yeah.
we'll have, any.
Yeah, so we're really
Guys.
hoping to, I believe, so what we're talking about is in April, hopefully the transfer is gonna happen. And then we should get an additional, John, help me on this, or Daryl,
22,000.
we should get an additional 22,000 from the stock.
Right, yeah,
Yeah.
Right. That'll help.
yes, yeah. Okay, all right. Any other questions regarding the financials for the properties at this point?
Well, I'm going to clarify a little bit on that 22,000 because we're getting $22,000 in. And there's a line of credit on the Big Bend Ranch that the funds were put into the other properties. And the way that the attorneys have shook that out is we will be paying that 22,000 will be headed towards paying that $35,000 line of credit as far as we know right now.
Right.
Right, and
And
the other part we may need to take some money from foundation
I
as a
think-
loan to the properties if
I
that,
think we're gonna have enough in our balance sheet
okay.
because
to
we're
cover that.
14 short. So I think we can get that from the properties. Plus the,
Okay.
but Daryl is right. We've got to pay the 35,000 off.
Yeah,
When-
okay.
when is it due, John?
What's the,
When we close, like,
what's
probably
the
April.
closing?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So,
Okay.
so as soon as we get the properties, it's
And the
due.
bank comes for it, I think. then-
Yeah, so far the bank hasn't reached out and said it's due,
Right.
but probably once the title changes, that's when you guys are thinking they may come and say, all right, we need this paid off now.
Right.
That'll trigger it.
Right,
Yeah. So I can give you a little bit closer of numbers. So we have to pay, so the line of credit that we need to pay off is 35,000. And then, let's see, the stock is at 22,000. So we're short about 14,000. We have currently about, what did I just say in the bank?
20,
20, yeah, so 20,
Yeah.
20,
Yeah, it's at least
25.
23. Yeah,
okay,
hold on.
25.
LRC.
yeah, 25,
Yeah,
yeah.
And you're gonna need 13 or 14, right?
right,
We're good.
Okay, so still some cash left there too. Okay,
right.
cool. Sounds good. Then one final thing on both of those, what's the status of the tax filing for those?
I'm gonna cover that.
Okay, all right, we'll get that when we get to you. All right,
Yeah.
okay, thanks, John. Any other questions about the financials for either foundation or properties? No, okay, all right. When we head into some committee reports, Clark's not here, so we'll skip over membership. Karen, you want to jump into updates and fundraising? All right.
Well, let me start with both Joanne and Jerry in the last week have sent out notices to all the people who signed up for the Wine Fest, Lincoln Wine Fest, and the Tour de Lincoln this spring. We have not rescheduled the Wine Fest. It will probably be not this spring, but next spring. And she has rolled over all of the registrants from this year to next year in that email and said, you can roll your money over or you can ask for a refund. No one asked for a refund. So that's really good.
Yeah.
Jerry did the same thing, only his is from a Tour de Lincoln from May 15th to October 30th. So we're going to move, and we're going to permanently move the Tour de Lincoln to be in the fall. So we have the Tour de Lincoln in the fall, the Wine Fest in the spring. And he had 3 people request refunds is all so far. I mean, he's given them until the end of March, so that, he's given them a long window, but he doesn't expect any more after this. One of them was for 3 people, so it's a total of 5 people have requested a refund. So that's really good too. We also snuck in both of those hey, you can help us some more by doing the silent bidding or coming to our auction tomorrow night. So the auction, I want to say that all of our members stepped forward and either gave a gift to be auctioned off or gave us $100. One person gave us 50, but everybody else gave $100. And there was, I don't know, probably a dozen or so who did that, who were not comfortable going out and putting a basket together or something like that. So we took some of that money and went down to the downtown business. I didn't, Graciela and Frema did it. They did a wonderful job. They went downtown and went shopping at our local downtown businesses and put together some baskets that you see being offered. We have had the bidding open since a week ago Thursday. So for 2 weeks. Tomorrow it will close right after we start the live auction. And we're going to do live auction. And I think you were all at the meeting today, and do a fund a need. And we have seeded that fund a need a little bit with some people who have told us that they will give some money to us. And so we have 3 people who said that they'll give $1,000, and one person 500, 250, and one 100. So we're hopeful that seeding of people who volunteered to give us money will influence other people to give us some money, including all you. So who knows how our fundraising is go tomorrow night. It's anybody's guess, but Joanne sent out invitations to all the wine people. Jerry sent them out all to the people who signed up for the bike race. I've heard from 2 or 3 or 4 people who've sent it out to 50, 60 friends. We've had it on the district website, our website, Facebook. We've sent to all of our members several times things that they can send to their friends. And I think we've done about all we can do.
Yeah.
And so we'll wait and see how we do.
Right.
I'm hopeful. That's it.
Yeah.
Claire, you have anything to add? Or Graciela, you both were highly involved in it, and I
No,
appreciate your help.
that's good. It was just I sent out a bunch to neighborhood thing. I did a newsletter here. So these are people that don't usually come to anything. So I've already had some calls. So we'll see what happens.
And I just want to commend Karen and the team for endless hours, and even through the COVID shot and surgeries. And I mean, she has been just amazing. This woman just works. I think she never sleeps.
Well, that's why she had to have a 36-hour sleep binge there. She finally got caught up.
But I second what Graciela said. There's
Yeah.
a
Me too.
tremendous amount of
Yeah.
details and work been done.
Yeah.
Yeah, including Linda doing a wonderful job on Brian's talk. So you'll see that tomorrow night.
Yeah, you got to doctor that up pretty good. I will say I didn't know what to expect really. I mean, I knew you guys would do a good job. What I wasn't sure of is how the site would look. I was really impressed when I went on and went through with the silent auction. That everything looks really good and professional. So
Looks great, except I keep getting outbid.
yeah, that's the downside, right?
That's good. Let's keep it. Just keep it.
That's I think that's part of the plan, right, Karen?
Yeah.
You know, there's
Bid
a
hi-
chat
bid
on the
higher.
side.
Bid higher, Christine. There's a sum on there that buys it right up front with no bidding.
There you go. There you go. All right. All right. Anything else, Karen?
No,
All right.
that's it. And,
Okay.
you know, if we don't make the money this year, then we'll try to have some special stuff. Somebody will try to have some special stuff next year. I am not.
Yeah, thanks for that, Karen.
We'll make it. We'll make it.
I'll support it, but I'm not going to chair it.
All right. Thank you very
Brian,
much.
stop laughing. He's
I
like, he's
can't.
like getting like a little girl. You know?
Yeah.
It's not my
Hey,
problem.
I've got a little short time calendar on the wall over here. Yeah, after tonight, 4 more meetings.
Yeah.
Kidding. I'm just kidding. All right. So next thing, public relations. Shanti's not here, but we've all seen, she's putting out notices about our upcoming lunch meeting. So we've got the link and we know who's presenting that week. She's been doing the recaps afterwards. So those have been a lot of good information going to our members. And of course, helping with the auction. So we all see that. Chris thought she'd be here tonight because she texted me earlier saying she thought she'd be here and have to leave at 5. So maybe she's gonna come at 5 and then leave at 6. But
She had to run to Roseville to pick up a basket that she thought somebody had brought to my house that Escatron was donating, but
okay.
so I'm not quite sure how long that'd take
So
her.
if she shows up, we can come back to her. And then Kimberly, I know, unless someone has anything on community services, I know she's reached out to her group and they're starting to talk about a few things that should be done within the community.
Yeah, so we just real quickly on that,
Yeah,
we had
please.
code enforcement, my division in city attorney's office, we had our first hoarder house cleanup for all intents and purposes today. And Joanne came by. We also have Mona Bass and some of her volunteers with Adopt a Creek, but we had 10 young men who are elders with the Mormon church. They're on their Mormon missionaries, and because of COVID, they're all kind of sitting around looking for stuff to do. So we have identified, we have a list right now of about 75 properties in Lincoln that have issues that we're going to start ticking them off one a month. But we did this morning, so the volunteers all showed up at 8 o'clock. We had a 40-yard dumpster, which is the ginormous long construction dumpster. We filled 3 of them. It was about 5 tons of debris that we hauled away from this property. And that wasn't including the mountains of old tires and several old vehicles that we successfully were able to dispose of. So it was very successful. We were kind of evaluating it as something that perhaps Rotary could get involved with. There's a lot of heavy lifting, and I know given the age of our membership, that's not maybe necessarily the greatest thing that we want to be involved in, but I think if we could support this young group of elders from the Mormon church is super eager and wanting to be involved in this project. So if we can get just a couple of Rotarians there to support and or sponsor the pizza lunch, you know, at the end of the day or whatever, but it was very successful. I'm putting together an article and compiling some before and after photos for Inside Lincoln, but it made a huge difference. All of the neighbors were out. Some of them were helping, you know, but they were all extremely grateful that we took care of this blighted property in the city. So it's a way once a month to make a huge difference in our communities for health, safety, and bettering property values for our residents. So
Yeah.
it was
I'm
very
gonna say,
successful.
Christine, I think you were probably highly involved in getting that going. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a little bit of involvement, but my code enforcement officer is pretty awesome. So he's doing a great job.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. And I know that another thing that Joanne is looking into is how we might be able to help get information out on the vaccines.
Mhm.
You know, so I guess she's closely involved with some people in the county, and she's going to find out what it is they think we can help with, and then bring it back to us and see what we can do what, if anything, we can really do to help out there. Okay. All right. Thanks, Christine.
Yeah, you bet.
So we'll skip over Rotary International Foundation since Clark isn't feeling well. Why don't we move on to John with the foundation?
Okay, Lincoln Rotary Club Foundation. The board meets quarterly, so the last time we met was on the 27th of January. One of the focuses really is membership for next year, so we're working on that. Next meeting will be in April. And we talked earlier about the status of the investment with Vanguard, so that they are being broken out. That was from Jerry. I think
And-
that's pretty much it.
One point of clarification, you said you're working on membership. You're talking
Yeah.
about the board makeup, is that it?
Board
Yeah,
member,
okay,
the trustees for the foundation.
okay. All right. And then you want to go on to the properties if you're
Sure.
done with that?
You bet. The Dart Trust disposition, next court date is in April the 16th, April 16th at 9 a.m. That'll be Zoom, which we talked a little bit about this earlier, includes the Big Bend Ranch with a life estate and the line of credit of $35,559 and $1,201, which is $1,200 for it's the cost to the Dart Trust for their share of an asset called the pump and the press tanks. So that was split between will be our cost, and the other half of it was picked up by 3 other entities. The Fifth Street PG&E easement, that's for a 4-month period, and we're going to get, we'll receive rent of $500 a month, so that's $2,000. We talked a bit about, this was yesterday's board meeting, I should have started with that. The maintenance on the 6 lots, either by club members, which we talked about before, or Daryl was saying that we really have a handyman that could do it as well for, I think, $30 per lot.
So when you say maintenance, can you?
Yeah, I'm talking about the weed cutting.
Like, okay, all right.
So I'm just gonna throw out here, this young group of Mormon elders, they're like putting it out on Facebook that they'll come mow your lawn, they'll come do anything. This might be a resource that,
Perfect.
Sure, absolutely.
okay, so I'm gonna write myself a note, John, and I will get you in touch with their team.
Perfect.
Some clarification on that. The handyman is much cheaper than the older one, but if this group that Christine's talking about would be perfect. The only thing that's above and beyond that on the lots is some of them have had tree branches fall down over on the 11th, East 11th, eucalyptus branches and such. So if that group that you're talking about, Christine, would be perfect to go in there and clear those off and do the whole
Yeah,
thing.
put them in a pile and then we just get them hauled off. Yep.
Yes.
It sounds like the only thing there might be just having the equipment to do it, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, we were thinking that if we had to buy the equipment, that's an offset to having the handyman do it. So
Yeah.
they,
Okay.
they've got the equipment. Super.
Okay.
We may have to buy it, but
If not, we can talk to Lowe's and Home Depot.
Yeah.
right. Okay, good.
All right.
So one of the items that we looked at yesterday at our board meeting was the review of the update of the bylaws. And we made some pretty nominal changes to the bylaws. And these include that all members shall be members of the Lincoln Rotary Club. That was not in there before. Board members will serve for a 3-year term. Notice of meetings has been in the past 2-week window in advance of meeting, and we brought that back to 1 week, which is really more realistic, and everybody was happy with that. We also have a conflict of interest segment that we reviewed, and we basically said that the definition was within the document so that no separate conflict of interest document is required. We spent some time on the indemnity section as well, which Daryl had reviewed. And I think basically what we were doing there is excluding language that was exclusionary. So that was it there. And we're also working on the same matter as the foundation, which would be the board members and the officers for next year. That completes my report.
All right.
Let me make one
No.
small correction. I just
Yep.
pulled out the paperwork here, John, and it's 10 o'clock on April,
Oh, thank you for correcting that.
10 a.m. Yeah. on the
Okay.
15th.
Good, 10 a.m.
All right. And then one further point on the properties. There's also a subcommittee called the Properties Disposition Committee. It's about 7 members that are on that. So right now that group is going through valuing each of the properties. And then of course, as we get title to it, we'll get a better handle on what things might need to be done to bring those one up to safety measures, and then also the possibility of what it would take from a monetary standpoint to have it ready for sale if we decide to sell it too. And then whatever disposition committee puts together, they'll bring back to the board. And the way the MOU set up is and correct me if I'm wrong, it's that the foundation and the club boards both review whatever the disposition committee brings to it for any next steps that we're doing. Okay.
That's correct.
All right. Okay.
One thing about the disposition committee, which I'm not on, but I've been fairly familiar with this whole project, is the lots are not making us any money and are costing us money. So the sale of one lot right up front solves a lot of cash problems for the whole deal. And like you mentioned,
Right.
so there's a lot of deferred maintenance on these properties.
Yes, and to that point, I know you're in touch with someone who's very interested in one of those properties, and that conversation could move forward. Or did he back out?
Don't know whether he's qualified or anything else, but he says, I
Yeah.
want it. I'm waiting. You guys tell me when you want, and
And he's ready
and
to,
price is not an argument.
Okay. All right.
Until it is.
Raise it up real high.
It's not an issue until it is. Yep.
That's right, right. Yeah. Once you put a number in front of him, then it'll become an issue. Yeah. Okay. Anything else?
no, that's it
All right.
on the property.
All right, thank you very much. Next thing is Community World Services, and Richard's not here for an update. So unless someone has something specific to that category, we'll move on.
Well, the only thing that I would mention is
Okay.
that, and Graziella talked about it earlier, is a lot of money has gone out in the month of January, I guess it was, yeah.
Yeah, I think it was $6,500.
Correct.
Yeah,
Okay.
but yeah, so for everyone's knowledge, basically we set the budget at the beginning of the year. Each committee has a certain amount of money they can spend as their committee sees fit. And as long as they stay within that, then everything's good. So they're still within their, I think they had 13.5 to spend,
Right.
and they're at like 8 or 9 so far this year.
It just all came at once.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. But to John's point, I think too is, you know, we have a smaller bank account now at the foundation than we've had in a while. So we've got to watch that. If each of the committees went and spent the rest of their money right now, we'd actually,
Problem.
we could do it, but wouldn't leave us much left. So,
Right.
okay. All right.
Yay for me.
Well, and yeah, just
This
to that
fundraiser's
point,
gonna
we're gonna
be
make sure to
awesome.
spend everything before you get it. Yeah. I'll leave you a couple bucks.
Awesome. I'll come to you for a handout.
Yeah.
July
All
1.
right.
We won't leave you in the lurch. We had a problem before several of you came, actually, Stan and Claire will remember,
Yeah.
about 6 or 7 years ago, we spent a whole lot more than we realized we thought we had. And so we
Oops.
were going into the beginning of a year and we were like $35,000 down more than we thought.
Oh,
we
dang.
were.
Yeah.
And
Everybody pull out all your checks.
yeah, yeah, so we had a little bit of a
Yeah.
come to Jesus kind of meeting and put our foot to
Well, we've
Yeah.
got Grazielli now. So
and,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I know what we've done, at least in the last few.
And Graziella has deep pockets, right?
Well,
That's right,
I
that's
think
right.
that's what you meant, Christine, right?
as long as she knows how to cook the books, we'll be fine.
Yeah. And I
Well,
know,
the bottom line was is that people stepped up and helped us out, and we did fine all year. So
Yeah.
Christine, don't worry,
Yeah.
we'll help you.
We'll be fine.
and of course, what we've been doing at least the last few years is whatever we raise in one year is what we spend the following year, so we don't end up overspending.
Yeah,
But I guess back to the concern for Christine is, right now, it's whatever we raise tomorrow night.
exactly, yeah.
So we'll figure it out.
Should
Well,
have had
John-
me make
John
a
and-
video.
Yeah, and John in the properties group is gonna make a lot of money on the properties, so it'll be fine.
There you
All
go.
right.
That call I had to take in the middle of our meeting was from a lady who says, I'm from out of the area, I'm bidding on your stuff online, and I want to know if I can pick it up later than 2 o'clock on Saturday if I win the bid. I said, sure.
All right,
Just keep
all
bidding.
right. Perfect. Okay, next, Claire, anything you wanna discuss
Well,
on
it's looking a
socials?
little bit better. I mean, according to
Yeah,
the way they're changing the colors now, but, and if more people get vaccinated, we still have to the end of April, because that's when the next, fifth Thursday is. So I'm looking at inside Bonarati's and in the wine thing, if it's really cleared out.
nice.
Or looking at Meridians, if they've opened up anything where we could have it an outdoor in their area that's covered with, just outside the bar, so they can, anyway, I'm talking to a couple people. Meridians hasn't opened up yet, so that's a little less possible, but they're ready to open as soon as they get the word that they can. So
The numbers from the county look good. I mean, we
yeah.
should be going to red pretty soon.
that's
here.
what I'm thinking. So
Yeah,
anyway, I think we'll have something on that day. We'll have something.
cool. That'll be fun.
Yay.
The downside is it means I've got to dress. I've got to get clothes on.
No, just shorts and, we'll make
Ah,
it
okay.
a beach,
All
a
right,
beach party
perfect.
for you.
Perfect. All right.
We can have a pajama party.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could come
There
as
you
you
go.
are.
All right. How about Christine, anything on the Community Emergency Council?
No, we haven't met for several months just because things kind of seem to be improving and stabilizing a little bit. So
Yep.
I get periodic phone calls from people, asking about resources, and I kind of direct them in one way or the other, but we haven't had the need to have a meeting.
Okay. Sounds good. Thank you. And then, of course, the COVID-19 committee report, nothing there. All right. Couple of things in old business, meeting attendance focus. It's really sitting there. It's an ongoing concern for us. I will say that again today, we had at one point, there were, I think, 27
Yeah,
participants.
we had a good group today.
Yeah, we
Yeah, yeah. And that doesn't include the people who are sitting next to each other, like say Jerry and Karen and Frema and Joe and so on. So, and I've noticed that more often now that we're in that mid-20 range on the the weekly meeting. So I want to thank everyone for focusing on that. And then this benevolent fund, we've got enough stuff to cover to even worry about that for right now. So I'm going to move into new business. And this one, I let the ball drop. This is sponsorships. And basically Jerry had an idea of basically awarding our sponsors, if you will, the ability to come when they sponsor something and send us a donation, give them the ability to get in front of the club and have a speaking time in front of us. And then there's also been discussion about at some level of donation, and it may be over time, but at some level of donation that we maybe award them a Paul Harris or something like that. So Jerry and I spoke a little bit, and I said I'd put something together, which I have yet to do. I started it, but I need a little bit more meat to it. So I will work on that for next time so that Jerry doesn't get upset with me.
You will be forgiving.
Well, right now he's preoccupied, so I'm in good shape for a few more days anyway. And then the next thing, we kind of touched base on this last meeting, and that was recognizing some of our major donors. And Clark went through everything that's showing up in Club Runner for us. And right away, we noticed that Jerry and Joanne at least need to be recognized for being major donors.
I think someplace my name dropped off there. I'll double check my records, but I think I'm in
Okay.
that group.
All right.
Yeah, I need to probably go back and update Jerry's too, because I don't think Rotary International has combined his New York donations with his California donations. So
Okay.
when and if we do recognize him, I probably ought to spend some time working with RI to get that straightened out, so we
All right.
know what the real thing is.
Okay, so what I'll do with this is I'll talk with Clark, because he's got access to all those numbers, and so we can start to at least pull together all the names that will be on here, and then decide. I don't know what's been done in the past, but it sounds like we've done something for major donors. So anything else on that? Any other comments before we move on?
Just a quick, are we talking major donor to RI International Foundation or club? Okay,
Yeah, it's all right. Yep.
gotcha.
All right. And then there was also discussion last time about resurrecting the Paul Harris focus. So we haven't really talked much about it. We've had several awards this year, but really haven't focused on having a push for members that may be close, right? I think last month, Clark pointed out that Karen's about $80 away from her next award. So again, that one I'll work with Clark on to start pulling something together for the club.
Can I chip in there my 2 cents worth?
Yes, oh, absolutely.
Especially think in terms of new members. If they put, always matching their first $100 to get a Paul Harris, or
Yeah.
giving, but putting points against to get them started.
Right. So, yeah, so I'll work with Clark on that, and then maybe come back with a recommendation to the board of what we do moving forward, and we can work through it that way. Okay. And then the next thing, the District 5180 incorporation vote. So basically, they want to incorporate. I sent everyone on the board in preparation for this meeting a list of what the effects are, and basically they want to incorporate for some protections. It looks like, and maybe Christine could probably speak to this better than me. I know one question I did have, and that is, will it impact us as a 501c3? And that is no, that won't change.
Well, just for clarification, the club is actually a 501c6.
Yes, yeah.
Right.
So thank you. Yes, but
Yeah.
it won't affect that. Is there anything, Christine, that you, from your perspective as an attorney, would think that we should talk about on this, or?
No, I frankly was surprised that we weren't already incorporated.
Okay.
I think it's really important for all of our protection that because right now as an unincorporated association, essentially each and every one of us is susceptible to liability as opposed to if there's a corporation. And then it also sets under California law the duties and responsibilities of the board of directors of the corporation. So the officers of the district. So, you know, it sets the indemnity provisions in stone under California law. To me, it's a no-brainer.
Okay. So any,
Wouldn't it become a 501c3 then? Is that what?
No.
No,
No, yeah, the foundation is a 501c3, so there are about 28 different versions of 501c. That's an internal revenue designation. So a 501c6, which is what we are, is what's considered a social club.
oh, you're talking about the Rotary Club, our Rotary Club.
Well, I'm talking about yes, us and the district. The district
And
is
the
also a
district,
501c6.
We're both sixes.
Yes, because
Okay.
we're considered a social club under the definition in the Internal Revenue Code.
Okay. Mhm.
Okay. All right.
And
So-
the only difference being that basically a 501c3 is not only tax exempt from, so we don't have to pay taxes, but any donations that a 501c3 receives are tax deductible to the donor. All
Right.
of the other 501c designations, they don't have to pay taxes, but their donations are not tax deductible by the donor.
All right, any discussion, did anyone else have any comments or discussion before we take a vote on this? And essentially, I have to get the vote back by the 1st of March, back to the district.
I move we say yes.
I second it.
Okay, Karen, so all in favor?
Aye.
I,
Any opposed? Someone was opposed.
That was Rose. She's
Okay,
out
all right.
howling at the moon.
And then any abstentions? Nope. All right, so we're unanimous with the attendees and I'll submit that for us. All right, and then one more thing I have before we open it up to any general comments or questions. Actually, I'll turn this over to Claire and Stan because this was a request by them to add this to the agenda, and it's a park community garden letter of support.
yeah,
And-
the community garden, I mean, the city is looking to put a park and a skate, ground, whatever you call it.
Great Barn.
And
Close.
Skate park.
skate park, that's good enough. And in an area that's over there by where the rec center is, that huge big lot there, where the fire station is. This is where I think it is. It's what it sounds like anyway.
Yeah,
Across the
First and
street from the
Joiner.
rec center
Mhm.
and behind where the fire station is, that huge big empty area. Is that right, Christine? Because that's where it sounds. where
Yeah,
it
First
is.
and Joiner, I think it is.
Yeah. Anyway, and they're looking, they need support letters, just when they take it to the city, when they take it in to request the permission to go ahead with it and what they need a lot of support showing that people will use it. The area that we're talking about is they call it a food desert and a sports desert. So there's nothing there now. And there are a lot of apartments around there and a lot of lower income areas. I mean, not necessarily lower income, but kids that, lots of kids that need something to do and somewhere to be and people. So anyway, they asked if we would write a letter. So I'm just coming to you and Stan, you say more because I know they came to you too. But they want to see if Rotary will send a letter of support. The next question is, and Stan can probably speak to this a little bit more. He's also looking for a kind of a commitment for help. Once the park once the garden is done, so like we have the Rotary garden, the community garden, which is taken care of by some of our members and of course, what's her name? Sellers.
Marie Sellers.
Marie.
Thank you, Marie. And we're not, you know, we don't necessarily have enough people. She has not got enough people to from what she uses there to, you know, say yes. And so we would have to, Stan suggested that maybe we try and get all the nonprofits or at least Rotary, Lions and Kiwanis and maybe Optimists or Seroptimists together. And, you know, between all of us, we could manage, you know, with 6 people a month and switching off. So anyway, that's something that we have to figure out. And that being there, it means that we have to have somebody making sure that the place looks right and things aren't going wrong. There's not a problem happening. And it doesn't mean going over and cleaning up the weeds. That's up to the people that do the planting, but it's being there to make sure that things are going the way they should and constantly watching it. So anyway, discussion, I guess we can open now. Stan, you had anything else you want to say about it?
Yes, thank you, Claire. I have been advocating for a community garden in that part of Lincoln because of the fact that there's the apartments there and they don't have a place to garden. And that is considered a food desert in that part of town. So I reached out to Doug because Doug Brown, who's the director of the Park and Recs department and is in charge of spearheading this project. And he let me know that he needed at least 20 volunteers to be able to successfully get the grant that they're applying for. They have to demonstrate a partnership between the community and the city. And so I told him that I would reach out to the service clubs. And that's why I talked to Claire. I talked to Chris Knudsen at the Lions Club, and I talked to a member of the Kiwanis Club. And they're all submitting letters of support. And I was hoping that we could commit to at least providing maybe 7 volunteers, and that's between the 3 service clubs would get us the 20 volunteers that Doug needs. So he's received 1 letter from the Lighthouse when I talked to him yesterday. He needs the letters by the 4th of March. That's when the application is due. So I'd be happy to try to answer any questions. Maybe Christine knows a little bit about this project, and we'd be happy to answer any questions that I know a little bit about it. There's one more workshop tonight, if any of you are interested, at 5:30 to learn more about the project. It's a Zoom meeting, and you go to Park Projects on the city's website, and you can find the Zoom link if you're wanting to learn more about the project. But it's a great project. It also includes a skate park and a bike park. Obviously, the city's looking to try to address the needs since they had to take down the one at McBean. And so there's a great interest by the skateboard people to have that happen. And so they've been very involved in the design of the park. It's about a 3-acre park, and it's sorely needed in that part of town. Christine, do you have anything else you'd like to share?
Not really. I mean, it's an amazing project. It is a competitive grant, and so any bit of information, letters of support that we can get to support our application are going to be very helpful. This is the only, because of the competitiveness of this grant and the way the grant is structured, you have to show them statistics of income levels of people within a certain mile radius and kind of all that. And this is the only area of town in Lincoln that qualifies for this grant. And because of its location, because it's so visible from, major thoroughfares, it's a perfect location for a skate park. Skate parks kind of can tend to have some issues with some elements that like to hang out there. And so this is the perfect location to have that and be open. So all of the skate park, the community garden, the BMX bike track, all of that is designed into this park. And I just think for all of the young kids that are cramped up in apartments in that area, this is going to be a fantastic addition to the city of Lincoln, especially having it in such close proximity to the community center, where we also run a lot of our basketball programs and all of that too. So it really just makes that a hub for recreational activity. It's kind of it's a no-brainer to me. It's nice to have a couple agenda items that are no-brainers, but I just think it's going to be, if we're able to get the grant, it's going to be an amazing addition to the city of Lincoln. And it'll be a regional draw. I mean, that kind of a skate park will draw
Yeah.
people to our community, and then hopefully they go dine in our restaurants and buy fuel at the Chevron and all of that. So
Is that a state rec department grant, or who we applying?
I believe it's a state grant. Yes.
Yeah, I think we got one once before for a bike thing between Ferrari Ranch and 65.
Mm-hmm.
The state bike to school program, and it was very competitive. You're right.
Mm-hmm.
Stan, I have a question in regard to what it is we're expected to do. It was that Claire was saying that we needed to go over and kind of monitor it. Are we talking just the garden part, or are we talking about,
Yeah.
about the skate
Claire,
park?
did you get a chance to speak with Marie?
No, I didn't, because
Okay.
I've been in Zoom meetings all day.
'Cause Claire
today.
asked me the same question and I wasn't sure. But I did speak with Marie because I did want to see if they had capacity to provide volunteers. And she said she didn't think so, because I guess the volunteers she needs for the garden on 3rd Street.
But
She
what we're
said that-
talking about is the volunteer part of the Rotary
for the-
groups is just for the garden,
For
not
the garden part of it.
the BMX or for the skate
Right,
park.
No,
just the
no.
garden part.
And are they planning to fence it in as part of their,
I will highly recommend that they fence it in because of what happened.
yeah, I
Uh,
mean, we gave like $10,000 to fence in that other garden after a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think the location of the community garden in this park as it is currently envisioned has a similar issue to that 3rd Street corner where you get cars taking fast turns and flying and missing it. And that seems to have been largely solved with the installation of a stop sign. So that was nice. But so hopefully, but I agree. I mean, I think the garden needs to be fenced in, just if anything, to protect. I mean, the people who rent or whatever sign up for these sections, they don't want poachers just coming in the middle of the night and stealing their produce or vegetables or
I think
flowers
we
or.
were able to get Home Depot to help out with that project, providing
Good.
materials and
Mhm.
actually had their workers volunteer, if I remember correctly.
I think there were several different groups and things that, because it was pretty expensive. So I would hope that they'd have fence around it as part of the grant.
Well, I'm sure we'll be able to
Yeah.
get the Mormon Church to help out. They did the first community garden. They brought over 200 people when they built all the boxes. So I'm sure that we'll be able to reach out to the community. It's just Doug needs this commitment of 20 volunteers to be able to submit the grant. If he doesn't have that, he said he's probably not going to be able to submit the
It's
grant.
dead in the water. No.
Well, I moved that
Isn't that-
Rotary
isn't that the
write the letter.
impression? Isn't that the impression you got, Christine?
That's my understanding is, I mean, there's these grants, like I said, they're highly competitive and they're very technical and there's a lot of boxes you have to check. And this is one of those boxes.
Okay.
So I think just to help Doug get the grant, if we could commit to have 7 volunteers, I don't think we'd have to spend a lot of time there. I'm sure we'll figure out a way. I'm willing to be one of the 7. So I hope that the rest of, if the board would be inclined to support this, I think it's a great project for the city and a great opportunity. Because without this grant, it'll probably be a lot longer before the park would ever happen. So
Okay.
It'll take more time. Yeah, it'll take more time.
So Karen moved.
Yes.
Okay.
I'll second it.
Daryl seconded it. So all in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank
Any
you very
opposed?
much. Doug will very much appreciate it.
Are you gonna write the letter, Stan?
Yes.
Just gonna Sign it?
Any opposed? No,
Don't
okay.
ask for what you don't want.
I
Yeah, so-
I can make an attempt. I guess we need to have it on rotary letterhead, which I don't have, so I'll work on that tomorrow. And
Yeah.
Brian, who has,
I think I have it, so I can forward it to you.
And
Uh,
Stan, you might want to just reach out to Doug and say, hey, we've got approval. He might have a template letter he could just send you and,
well, I
or
know
send,
Gary from, asked
Yeah.
Doug what he need, Gary from the Lighthouse.
so just
And
copy
Gary
it.
submitted a very nice letter, so I'll kind of look at what he did, because Gary sent
You
me.
know, I was looking at some of the other ones, Stan, that he sends samples of. Some of them are, 4 lines long, like the
Mhm.
ABC Rotary Club of Lincoln, supports is pleased to, support the idea of the garden,
All right.
Plagiarism is the highest form of flattery.
Yeah.
so.
Yeah,
exactly.
Stan, a lot of times I write something and I ship it off to either Shante or Joanne. Joanne does a really fast turnaround on
Oh, who do I need to
filling out.
have, who do I need to have sign this letter? Is it?
So-
Probably Brian.
Hi, Brian.
Yeah, I was gonna say, just put it together and let me know, and then I can get by to sign it.
Okay,
Okay?
thank you.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
absolutely. All right, thank you all for that. All right, so I'll open it up for any other topics anyone wants to bring up? No?
So,
Okay.
so Stan, are you gonna write the letter?
Yes, I'll write the letter. Thank you, Claire.
Okay, okay.
Sorry,
And
Stan.
Gabrielle is gonna send me the letterhead, and I will
Yes.
somehow connect with Brian to get his signature. I'll get it over to Doug before the 4th.
Okay, yeah, perfect. That sounds good. All right, so any other items anyone wants to bring up?
No, just to welcome William to the first meeting, and it kind of indicates, William, that we do quite a few things. Sometimes we know which way we're headed.
Well, this is great. Bill's well on his way to getting his blue badge, so that's good.
Yeah, he should have it tomorrow.
Not quite.
That's right. Okay. All right. Yes. Thanks for joining us, Bill, and also Stan for joining us and helping talk through that topic on the community garden. So,
You know what, Brian, let me ask
Yeah.
a question. Karen.
Yeah.
You said that the Paybe was gonna send out a letter to, or
An invite. I
an
think they're doing
invite to
it,
everybody.
I
What-
think
like,
tomorrow.
what time are they gonna do that? Because I mean,
I don't know. I can ask Lori that question and send you a note.
Yeah.
My understanding is sometime tomorrow or tomorrow afternoon.
Yeah, usually Zoom does it has like kind of an automatic couple hours
It's not-
before.
Yeah, it's not a Zoom thing, but
Oh,
Yeah,
but
they have their own platform thing that they use. I think when I signed mine up, it said it'd send it to me in the early afternoon,
right.
the day of the event.
all right. So we must be done. My pen just ran out of ink. So
We're done.
that said, I move that we adjourn the meeting.
All right.
All right.
I
Thanks,
second.
team.
Thank you all. I appreciate it.
Bye-bye, guys.
See you
Okay, good
next
meeting.
Bye, guys.
See
Thank you for
Tomorrow
your hard work.
night.
yes, tomorrow.
I'm gonna go check on my auction item right now.
Okay. More than one, Christine.
Keep bidding.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you all.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.